Good morning. How you doing, everybody? How you doing? Wow. Listening to MAL. Joe and Mrs. Joe. The new Fred and Mrs. Fred. Remember, remember Fred Granny? He always had his wife on, Mrs. Fred. She was always raging about how Sharia law was going to take over our country at any moment. And now we got Joe and Mrs. Joe, Victoria Tenzing. And they're on WMAL like every day, raging and ranting about how awful Obama is and all that. It's entertaining. Okay, here's the Washington Post. Oh, excuse me, I didn't say hello. Hi there. I'm Dave. I'm the head of DCR TV. It's the 9th of May, 2013. Okay, so anyhow. Post style section again. More reasons why this section sucks. Why more reasons why this section sucks? Okay, couple of things. First off, we have Lisa de Moraes, who's thankfully leaving the paper soon, but she does this piece on here about the upfronts. Okay, those are out in LA where the TV networks come on and have all the media people there, and they do a presentation about what the new shows are for the fall season. And she has this thing about Fox. Okay, all right, so Fox. And let's see, it runs for about 3 or 4 paragraphs on the front page, and then you click to the inside of the paper. And look at it. Look at the length of this thing. It goes all the way here, all the way here, all the way here, all the way here. Up. I mean, it's longer than probably the stories on Benghazi. And it's full. I mean, it belongs in a trade publication. It belongs in a TV trade publication. It's funny why the Washington Post they obviously Lisa write whatever the hell she wants to her own heart's content. And it's why this style section is so awful. I mean, I don't know how many graphs this is. I haven't bothered to count it. It's like 25, 30 paragraphs of all the meandering insider BS that's going on at CBS and Fox. And I'm not saying somebody somewhere isn't interested in this. I'm not saying that. But does it really belong in this crappy little style section in the Washington Post, which doesn't quite know where they're going? I don't know, man. If they do hire a replacement for Lisa, and probably what the Post is going to do is just start using wire copy like they do everywhere else. You get that Sunday style section tabloid. I mean, most of it's just wire copy. The mark of a truly great paper. And here we go. The big news yesterday: Bob Ryan leaving, retiring from Channel 7, and of course Paul Farhi's little piece on it here. Couple of things about Paul Farhi's piece. Paul Farhi is the C+ journalist. He's the C+ journalist, meaning that's his grade, C+. That's what I give him, a C+. He's okay. He ain't great. So we got here, let's see, in his piece, he interviews another Ryan, Fred Ryan, who's over at Channel 7. He's one of the head honchos over there, President Chief Operating Officer. Okay, and then he throws in something about how TBD went down the tubes. And then, let's see, we get a thing on here about how, Bob Ryan might join the Washington Post Capitol Weather Gang. Okay. And then we have a thing here where Paul Farhi talks to Jason Samenow, whatever, chief meteorologist at the Washington Post. I guess that's okay. I mean, Ryan and Samenow did work in some capacity. Did work as an intern with him. But my pet peeve of this paper, especially the style section, is when they interview their own people for stories. You're doing a story on Bob Ryan leaving Channel 7, and then you do really easy interviews. Like you call over to somebody else who works at the Post to interview them for your article. That's the mark of a not very good newspaper. If I was Marty Barron, the executive editor of the Washington Post, I would say I would assume my journalists already know, do not interview other Post people, other Post experts in your articles, unless, of course, they're the ones under investigation for something, I mean, if some reporter commits a murder, yeah, okay, then you want to interview that reporter for your article. That's one thing. Or they did some huge, horrible crime. Yeah, okay, if they're actually the criminal, then you interview them. But, there was a lot of people that Farhi could have called to talk to other than Jason Samenow to interview for this piece here. Other journalists in town. I'm sure Doug Hill even. Man, it's just, there's something wrong with this paper. And it's just, you read it and you just cringe and you go, this is not even a very good newspaper anymore, especially some of these insider sections. This section, this style section is the weak link, and it continues to be so. And why the people at the Washington Post can't seem to effing fix it, I don't know. I'm telling you, I was raised with this paper. I moved to the Washington area in 1972 with my family when I was just a wee tyke. And my parents always subscribed to the Washington Post. We always got it in the driveway. This is in the 70s. My dad was a huge fan of Woodward and Bernstein. He loved what they did with Watergate. My dad hated Nixon, by the way. But anyhow. And we've gotten the Post my whole life. I remember, after my parents passed away, I continued getting it, and so my family and I have gotten the Post for 40-some years. And I'm honestly, seriously thinking, I haven't done it yet, but it is entertaining in my mind and swirling around in this bald head of mine to cancel this paper. Something I've never done before. That thought hasn't ever come up, but I'm getting to the point where I'm getting angry at this paper at how rotten and lazy it is. And it's sad, and it's thin, and it's the Sunday paper. It looks fat, but then when you start reading it, it's just all wire copy and crap and large graphics, and you can get all the damn stuff free on the web. They still haven't put the paywall on. I don't know, man. I'm telling you, I am this close to calling that number up and saying, hey, cancel my Post. And if I'm a person who's been getting the paper since I was like 14 or 13 or something, they got to realize if people are longtime subscribers like me are getting close to canceling that paper, they're in big poop. Big poop. More about Bob Ryan. I like Bob. I always liked Bob. Bob was always a nice guy. I think he was one of the better weathermen, and I think he did less hype than some of these other weather guys do. One of the things these weather people do is a lot of hype because it gets ratings. If we're going to get a half an inch of snow, there's snow in the forecast tomorrow. Details, I love it. Bob was always a little less hypester about it. I like Bob. As you know, Bob worked at Channel 4 for most of his career here in Washington, 30 years. He came. Remember Willard? Willard used to do the weather on Channel 4 back in the 70s. And then they wanted Willard for the Today Show, and Bob was working at the Today Show up in New York at the time. So they basically just flipped places. Willard, who'd been a long-time Washington media personality, was Bozo the Clown, one of the Joy Boys on the radio with Ed Walker. Then he worked at Channel 4 for many years. Then he did he was a humorous kind of weatherman, always joking around, kind of like Glenn Brenner did with the sports back on Channel 9 in the 80s. And, but anyhow, so Willard heads up to New York to work for the Today Show, and Bob came down from the Today Show and started here at Channel 4, a little more of a serious weatherman, more of a meteorologist. Willard was never a meteorologist. He was just a fun guy. But anyhow, so Bob started at Channel 4 back in 1980, and, he was there for 3 decades. And then, I don't know what happened that led to his departure in 2010. It wasn't terribly amicable, but he went over then to Channel 7, where, of course, all the great TV journalists go after their careers are kind of washed up at their main stations. But I like Bob a lot. Bob is doing the afternoon, the late forecast, and letting Doug Hill, who's the main weather dude over there. I guess you could still say he's still the main weather dude over there at Channel 7, letting Doug do the morning. He did not the morning, but he did the main, 6 o'clock, 5 o'clock newscasts, weather forecasts on those earlier weathercasts, so that Bob could go and do his thing at night. Whatever. I like Doug Hill too. I think Doug Hill's great. I think Bob Bryan. I think right now we have some of the best weather people in the Washington market on television. I really like them all. I think Doug Cameron is pretty good. I like him over there on 4. And Sue Palka's always been good in that. O'Grady, what is his name? I like him too. I like the people. I think everybody at Channel 7's good. I like Steve Rudin and the guy I think who's gay. I think he's good too. What's this name? You always think for some reason I tend to think weathermen are gay. I don't know why. Especially the younger ones. I go, oh gosh, he's got to be gay. And then of course Channel 9, course Topper and the great Harvey Bernstein, Howie Bernstein. I think they're all good. They do hype stuff a little bit sometimes, but I really do think right at the moment we have a pretty good crop of local weather reporters and people here on the local newscast. So there we go with that. Hitting the 11-minute mark, so I better shut up pretty soon. All right, folks. So tip of the old camo cap, which I don't have today, to the great Bob Bryan, who I hope will still be. He's apparently going to be doing some fill-in work, so we'll still see him on Channel 7, up at least until the ownership change comes at the end of the year. That'll be interesting. Could we see some other Channel 7 personalities leaving before the ownership change? I think so. I think we'll be seeing some other people at Channel 7 who are kind of towards the end of their careers, maybe saying, okay, this is a good place to say adios, amigos. So I wouldn't be surprised if Bob Ryan is not the last long-time local media personality on Channel 7 who decides maybe to hang it up this summer. So we shall see about that. All right, folks, thanks for watching Dave TV for the 9th of May, 2013. Live long and prosper.